3, 2, 1. Welcome to the end of the world. This is literally the end of the world. There's protests, there's a pandemic, it started raining, and I could not have been in better company than with the lovely, beautiful, and deadly Jesmine.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Good, are you?
Yes, I am doing great. I'm doing what I love. I'm bored out of my mind most of the time because, of course, we can't be training at this point. We can't be seen hugging each other in a very, very violent way anymore. We've lost the ability to no chokings, no grapplings, no punching either.
Yeah.
I've measured. It's less than. I have really long arms, but it's still less than 1.5 meters. That is.
I have very short arms, so I think maybe 3 times my arms.
Sticks. We're gonna have to go at each other with sticks. That's
maybe
going
heel
to be
hooking very far.
Aikido stuff. Oh God, no. Yeah, I'm very happy to have you. I really am. How's your? Can you tell me a little bit? How's your days going now that we already talked a little bit about it, that you're collecting plants.
I'm collecting a lot of plants, so, and I'm giving them names. Yeah. Today it's plant day, so I have to water them all, but I still want an extra plant because I feel like if there's a jungle inside, I feel more like I'm outside.
That's a good way of seeing it. There's never enough plants though. We can always have one more somewhere.
One more, always one more.
Like there's always room for some weird little plant. I did order, and I don't know if it will arrive. Those I bought one, loved it, and then I said I'm gonna order a bunch of them. And this one that I have, it moves. It's so freaky. It moves.
Really?
Yeah. And so it goes like if there's sun or if it's like whatever happens, this freaky motherfucker, right? He
stands
moves. Up. He stands up and then lowers itself down. And it's very perceptive, but it's freaky. I like it. So I ordered 2 more, so he has friends.
I learned a lot about plants. A friend of mine told me I shouldn't move the plants that much because they get dizzy. So I had to leave them at one point. He told me, plants get dizzy too. So I don't move them along a lot anymore.
He's shitting with you. That's not the plants get dizzy. What?
Actually, I looked it up online because I thought he was shitting with me. I was like, plants get dizzy?
What? But it does make sense because they're used to being planted.
On one spot.
Oh, that is amazing. Now, Jesmine, could you tell me a little bit of what you do? I did come over once, and I need to do it again because my shoulder was busted, and I was feeling bad, and I'm hurt and constantly hurt because I've chosen the sport that is the weirdest for my body. And you cured me. You made me better. It was a miracle.
A miracle. I try. So I'm a physiotherapist. And I work at Sport Medical Center in Amsterdam. And I try to help people, especially athletes with injuries, and try to get them more belastbaar. How do you say it in English?
I have no idea. I know what it means, but
that you can take more. Your body can take more training, and I think a lot of athletes sometimes forget that they have to work on that too to train actually.
So it's a training. You teach them basically how to train so that they can train more.
Yes, that's actually what most injuries are because you train too much, more than your body can handle. It's like a weighing scale, and I try to move up the scale that your body is a bit stronger, that you can take a little bit more. But like every jiu-jitsu athlete loves to spar and choke, but don't love the maintenance of their body. They like the feel of pain.
I have never heard about that. Never.
Everything hurts. Back hurts. Neck hurts. Hands hurt. Yeah. But I think a little bit of pain is always there.
All right. Okay, where did you learn? Where did you go to school?
In Amsterdam, University of Amsterdam.
Everything here.
Yeah, I did everything here. I did some outside of university, some stuff too, but yeah, most of it here. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. How did you get to that? What was the driving force behind it?
Before I did physiotherapist, I studied psychology.
Oh.
Yeah, and during my time there, I found it very interesting, but I knew it wasn't for me. I liked a bit more. I was a lot into the body, so I thought maybe medicine, but then you just prescribe medicine and it's gone, or yeah. So that wasn't it for me, and then I got injured myself, and I moved around a lot of physiotherapists and doctors that couldn't help me, and then I found one good one, a good friend of mine, and now too, and he helped me. He helped me a lot, and then I saw, because it was a long procedure, getting back, that I kind of like his job. So at one point I was like, okay, when I'm finished psychology, because it was my last year, I was like, okay, I know what I really want to do, and that was physiotherapy. And it was actually because I self got injured. Yeah. And I saw what a big problem it was, because a lot of people don't understand jiu-jitsu, so they didn't understand how to help me, and they were like, yeah, you should think about not doing the sport if it hurts so much and you couldn't do it. I was like, saying somebody cannot drink water to me, it's like, that's not living for me, no jiu-jitsu. So I found a good one, and he helped me, and then I thought I should help people too that couldn't find the right one or have the mentality. I think a lot of the mentality is always like, quit it and just do something that doesn't hurt, and I'm not in that philosophy.
All right. And what kind of injury did you get?
My
Out of
back.
your
Yeah,
back?
my back injured. Yeah, I couldn't like, even when I brush my teeth, I couldn't go like spit out. Yeah,
Oh
so it
no.
hurt so much.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, but it changed a bit of my jiu-jitsu, because I couldn't do the armbar, and I like the armbar a lot.
No more
They're always
armbars.
joking about Honda Haushi, but then I started doing chokes, because then you can stay a little bit like that. Yeah, but I quit for a bit, uh, and get better. And then I came back to jiu-jitsu.
All right. Did it take long? We just
Yeah, I think it took me around a year to be really back and training. Now I don't even think about my injury anymore. So in the beginning it was a bit ups and downs and getting up, but now I don't think about my back anymore. Yeah, I couldn't do judo or the throws or anything, but now if somebody does a lapel guard or drills that, it doesn't bother me anymore. Yeah.
wow, that is awesome recovery.
Yeah, really, but it takes a lot of time, and I still do a lot of maintenance about it. Yeah. So if I stop doing it, it will come back. But I think everybody gets that. If they stop working on their body and you get older and you do a lot of jiu-jitsu, and jiu-jitsu is always like more contracted, it will kind of hurt. So you see a lot of pain in the neck or in the back with jiu-jitsu, or sometimes shoulder. But it's always because we're contracted, like John Danaher says. Like, yeah.
Let's
That's
not
the
talk about
funny.
him. I have my own personal issues with John that I'm not gonna say. I'm trying to do all my podcasts with better language. But every time
Mm.
somebody touches the subject of John,
Mm.
something
Yeah.
comes up in me. And I swear, why can you not just simply explain something without using all those little beautiful
Yeah,
words?
I know. Yeah, it is his
Yeah.
own style.
It's okay. And I respect him for being this awesome
Yeah,
teacher and this great guy. Great teacher, great guy.
yeah,
But all those Japanese names,
I know. It gets a bit snobby.
just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. Especially you went to Brazil too, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. When I was like 18, 19. Yeah.
Oh,
There were not a
so
lot of black belts back here in Holland, so I had to get out. So I went to San Diego, Brazil. Yeah.
Wow. So you know how they teach in Brazil. They don't use any
No,
beautiful
they
names
don't.
or any explanations
Everything
like
was
do
in
this or
Portuguese
die.
back then too. Like nobody gave a shit about English. You're in Brazil, you know? Everything was in Portuguese. Even like at the big gyms at Checkmate. Yeah, everything was in Portuguese. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just do it.
They don't even try the English. They say,
No,
nah,
they
I don't know
don't.
that stuff.
No. But it was weird for me because back then a lot of guys wouldn't speak English, like Jackson Sousa, Thiago, and now their English is so good. But back then, when I knew them, there was no word in English.
Adapt, survive, and
Yeah,
overcome. That was
yeah,
it. I understand completely. But hey,
yeah.
now we're in this weird period where nobody can train. We
Mm,
all miss it.
yes.
I can feel literally the collective energy of thousands of jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
fighters just compressed in this desire to explode in what I can only explain as being this orgasmic release on 1st of July where everybody
Yes.
just runs up on the mat and kills each other. They're going to be flying. People are
I
going to be
definitely.
flying.
I
And I
think.
was afraid for that, being a teacher
Yeah.
myself. I was going like, guys, take it easy. And I
Yeah.
can see my words just like hitting them and falling away. Like, what? Take it easy? No, we kill, drill.
Every day. Yeah. Every day. Porrada. Every day.
Every day
Now.
pahada. And I respect the mentality to train every single day. I
Hmm.
do respect it, but I want to know from you, knowing that people like if on 1st of July we start, I think 10 days later,
Yeah.
your clinic will be full of people.
Money wise, good for me.
Money, I was gonna say that. I mean, do
Money
you
wise.
really want to tell them not to take it carefully or not? This is a
Yeah.
balance, like
Yeah.
capitalism
But
or my
yeah.
morality.
But I'm a jiu-jitsu player at heart, so I want a lot of people to kill. So I want them on the mat,
Ah, there's the
and that
love.
wins.
There it
Yeah.
is. There it is.
But
Love wins.
you can actually do jiu-jitsu every day, but different. So you have your days of Bahada when you start, and think about like you try to easily get into it. So maybe the first training you do some couple of Bahada rounds, you know. Even as a teacher, you kind of get into it more. Like the warming up should be more specifically to jiu-jitsu, not a lot of push-ups. We're not boot camping, but yeah, get your body ready before practice. No stretching before practice. After practice you stretch. And a lot of animal movements always help. Isometric stuff before you start, and a lot of things that you do with jiu-jitsu, but the opposite things. So with jiu-jitsu you're always like this, try to get movements in more open, so you open everything up, especially after practice. And then some days that you drill more, you do a little bit more technique, so you're still with the jiu-jitsu in your mind and in your body, but your body doesn't take a hit that hard. So you can still do jiu-jitsu every day, but not every day porrada. And then maybe you start with 2 and then 3 times porrada, and then you get back up your body. Yeah. And do some physical training. Physical training, yeah. Some weightlifting, the old things, the squats, the deadlifts, and do them nice. It's not about how much you can deadlift, but how good you can deadlift.
I am writing everything down you're saying. This is a
Yeah,
gold mine. This is a
yeah.
gold mine of information. You said stretch after?
Yes, it is
Stretch
like,
after reading? I've been
yeah,
doing it
don't
wrong my whole
before.
life.
Yeah, they do a lot of people think you have to stretch because that's what we learned before,
Hmm.
but you should see it like an elastic. If I stretch it before, it can rupture quicker. And with jiu-jitsu, you sometimes be very explosive. And when it's stretched out, it can rupture easier. So even like when you run, don't stretch before. But you can move like mobility moves, you know, that's the animal movements you do. It's a bit of stretching, like when you do the jacare movement, like the crocodile. You stretch, but you also are moving. So that's more like dynamic. But when you stretch, always after practice, because the risk of injury is smaller for your muscles.
This is new stuff for me.
Mm.
Animal movements. That started it some time ago with Rickson.
Yeah.
Man, he was onto something.
Yeah.
You probably
Because
did
you
a good
move
idea.
in very different patterns, and it's very useful. And you also you're already using some muscles, so there's some priming already. And with jiu-jitsu, it feels a bit animalistic because you use your feet like it's your hand, and with animals, you sometimes like the crocodile, you stretch up and still like priming your muscles. So I like that, and you get a little bit more warm, easier, instead of like doing like push up, boop, 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 boop.
It's more that. You're right.
Yeah, I get sick of the warm-ups. They always do the same thing: crunches, push-ups.
Oh no, I
I don't
stopped
like
that.
that.
I
Yeah, I
stopped
don't
that
like that.
in the old gyms. It was like the same thing the whole time,
Yeah,
and I vowed and I swore that the day I had my own gym in my own class, I'll
yeah,
never do a push-up again ever. Do it at home. If you're doing
yeah,
push-ups and squats, that's something you should do at home. That's
yeah.
homework. That's homework.
But I think you should have a goal. Is your goal with the warm-up? It's not to get physically strong. And sometimes I think they do the warm-up like it's a strength and conditioning training. But it
Yeah,
is to prime your body to get into jiu-jitsu and get the risk of injury smaller. But sometimes they do it like it's a strength and conditioning. And you should do that separate from jiu-jitsu.
I had a couple of classes where I went to that,
Yeah.
and I've been training my whole life, but there were a couple of classes that I went to that they did the warm, and I said, "Really, is this the warm up
Yeah.
you guys do every single time?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
Why? God, what was it? It was like 100 push-ups
Yeah,
every
I
day.
know.
It was too
Every day.
great.
And then a lot of like doof, jumping jacks the whole time. I'm
Yeah."
like at one point like, can we start doing jiu-jitsu because I don't like this shit. Otherwise I'm gonna go do a boot camp or something. Because at this
Oh,
point it feels like a Jane Fonda movie.
I know.
Workout movie.
I had a gym I walked into and they said, okay, jumping jacks, everyone count 10. So I was like, okay, everyone
Yeah.
count. And then I looked around and there were at least 50 people that day.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I know that feeling. I've been to one of those practices too. That everybody count 10, and then they do the jumping jacks and then the push-ups. And I'm like, I don't want to.
that's when I started skipping them.
Yeah.
Warm-ups. I said, oh, I'm late, I'm sorry. Something happened.
Yeah, I skipped them too a bit.
Yeah, my grandmother used to die every week if it was like, oh, my grandmother died. I'm like, I'm sorry. It's exaggerating a bit.
I
But
feel
yeah.
like the moment you get purple, it's time to skip the warm up. That's a stereotype, and I'm with it.
I know. But no,
Yeah.
let's not give this message to the purple belts. No, guys, do the warm-ups. Do
Yeah, do
good
the warm up.
warm-ups. Be there. Be the example. Even if you hate doing it, be the example for the new generation coming.
And the teachers do the warm ups that is good
Everybody
for your
does.
body and not doing a lot of aerobic movements.
I wanted to know. Now people are gonna go in next month, and they're gonna go in for the kill. They're gonna in doing a bunch of weird stuff.
Yeah.
What are the main injuries that you see already coming up? Like, let's say if there's like
Yeah.
a top 3, top 5.
I will see. I think back, knees, and I will neck. But I will think like a lot of knees. Yeah. Because I don't know if everybody is doing physical training. A lot of gyms were closed, not everybody had the opportunity to do heavy lifting. Not everybody had weights because it was like getting drugs at this point. All the weights were sold out, and you had to like get them anywhere you could. So a lot of people, I think their muscles are a bit they got less strong at this point, and for your knees to get stay stable, the muscles are a big part of it. So I think there's going to be some knee injuries like meniscus, because there's a lot of like moving around with jiu-jitsu, a lot of turning, and back, because people are pulling and you're not used to it anymore. And I think a lot of people used to have back pain and then they stopped doing jiu-jitsu, and maybe it gets a little bit less, and then they gotta start and they are more aware of it, because there was a time they didn't have. And a lot of people are working at home now at horrible desks and a lot of sitting. Yeah. And that hurts the back the most, I think. So that's why my message is always do something that's the opposite of jiu-jitsu to help your jiu-jitsu. So jiu-jitsu is always like this. Do a lot of movements that are up. So I always tell them do the split squat, because then one foot is away from your body and it opens it up a bit more. Train your back so your posture isn't like this. I think you see it a lot with judo players too. The posture gets a bit more like this. Yeah, because we're always like, so do things that are the opposite. Train the opposite a lot.
All right. What would you say is like, for me, for example, I have a hate-love relationship with lifting weights. You know, I like doing it. I like doing it, but it has to be fun. It has to be a reason. Like, let's try to lift as much in a deadlift or something like that. Yeah. So if it's that, then it's a competition or something like that. Then I like doing it. But if I'm not going to lift any weights, what do you say is the best?
Swimming.
Really?
Yeah, for jiu-jitsu, swimming, because it's the opposite. And you have to be long, especially when you do borstkraal. How do you say it in English? Yeah.
I think it's called boss crawl, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah, okay. Like the turtle.
No, not the turtle.
Kraal.
Yeah, boss crawl, like the free swimming, stuff like this. Yeah, because it's a lot more of the back muscles. You open up and you're turning your head every time you have to breathe. So it's a little bit of mobility every time in the swimming water, and kind of feels nice. No zwaartekracht. Yeah, sometimes the words are in Dutch. Gravity, yes, thank you. Yeah, no gravity.
I'm gonna have so much fun with subtitles.
Yeah, so I think swimming or doing yoga, but not for everybody. Yoga is not everybody's into yoga that much, or has the wants to do it. It's a bit slow for them, or are bored by it. So swimming feels a little bit meditative, like you're going up and down, and it's different kind of movements. You can also do rock climbing, because that's also more the back muscles, more open, and helps your grips. It's a lot of grip training then. Yeah. So I would think if you don't like lifting weights, do something like that. Yeah. And it's also a good mobility thing to do.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. There's going to be a little bit hard to find some rocks to climb here in the Netherlands. I've realized that it's pretty straight here.
But you have, like in Amsterdam, you have places where you can, I don't know how it's called, when you go with the small things on the walls. It's a bit hipster now, because a lot of hipsters are doing it now. Wall climbing, but without any zonder touwen.
Oh, that's something free climbing, right?
Yeah, free climbing. Yeah, you can do that on walls.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look that up, because no idea. That's cool.
A lot of places in Amsterdam have that. I think most places have a wall somewhere.
And see if I can do that. Because
and maybe get a buddy to do some lifting. Because especially for your hips, getting a bit strong can help with jiu-jitsu. Getting some strong hips. And that's a part of your core. People always think that the crunches is the way to get a strong core. But your core is from your hips till all the way up. It's your back muscles, your front, and your hip muscles. It's all getting have to get tight. when you do like if you're passing around and you want to move, you're always putting your hip in, right? And even when you're back or gonna get a triangle, it's always like hip, hip, hip. So if your hips are strong, it's the fundament of the rest.
Automatically, the rest should get better too. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the longer I've done it, jiu-jitsu, the more I realized that all of jiu-jitsu is basically shrimp.
Yes.
It's
exactly. It's
I got to
all
black
like,
belt and I was like, oh my God, is this the big secret? It's shrimping.
Everything. That's exactly it. And that's what I think about jiu-jitsu too. And that's why you should do everything that's opposite to shrimping if you're not doing jiu-jitsu. So when you're sitting the whole time, you're already kind of shrimping, but then sitting. So when you go to jiu-jitsu and then get home sitting, it kind of feels like redundant. So you have to do something. It's like toothbrushing. You want to keep your teeth healthy. You want to keep your body healthy.
Amazing. I guess I'm gonna start having to do stuff. I mean, I've been writing down all the things I've been doing wrong, and I'm already on page 2.
But I think a lot of people are doing the same things.
I mean, I think so too. That's why there's so many people getting hurt, by the way. I mean, if you are in the gym and you know people in the gym, then you can ask them 2 questions. Hey, you like jiu-jitsu? Yeah. Are you hurt? Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Oh, somebody's always hurting. Everybody somewhere.
It's weird. It's but okay. I think it's also the price we pay for doing like
it hurts. I think
it comes
people should accept a bit more pain. I think everybody thinks they should be comfortable all the time, but it isn't like that. I think our parents know that. Our grandparents were a little bit more uncomfortable, and we should be at ease with being uncomfortable. So when something hurts, even with practice, there's some danger and there's some, being comfortable with it. Sometimes it hurts, yeah. And sometimes I have somebody says, yeah, if I pinch here, it hurts, yeah. You're doing jiu-jitsu, sometimes your hands hurt, yeah. You have to pay that price. I cannot do anything about it. Yeah, stop being a bottom player, No grips, do more grappling. Yeah, I can say that, but if you're like my professor, he's a very big chungo, he's a very big guard player. His hands probably hurt a lot, but he's comfortable with being it that way.
I think I have the most quotable monument out of any of the podcasts I ever did. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. Dude, that is okay. Let's go deeper. Be comfortable being uncomfortable, but at what point should you actually be a little bit worried? I mean, because
there's a fine line, yeah.
I'm a stubborn man, very stubborn man. So I will never go to the doctor unless I'm carried there officially, which is wrong, which is absolutely wrong. I do understand it. So I only go when the pain is like, oh, okay, I can't sit.
Yeah. When it's too much and you cannot actually move around. Yeah, most of the time you're a bit too far then, but I think most athletes have that because they're aware of the pain, but they feel like I still can go on. It's not like you feel less pain than anybody or like a normal person. Suddenly you want to move more with jiu-jitsu, and I think a lot of jiu-jitsu players have that. And some better than other, but there is a fine line getting some help and not. And I think if you're doing the maintenance with your body and it keeps getting worse, so most of the time I'll ask how much does it hurt from 1 till 10, and if it's above a 4, I think you should get some help, get a look at it. And
above
if like
4.
If it hurt, if the movements hurt more than a 4, you should think about getting some help. And I think if something is broken, you always get help. I mean, the pain is at a 10 then most of the time. Yeah. Things get swollen up every time you practice, you should get help. Yeah. And if you cannot sleep, because of the pain, you should definitely get help. Because I feel like a lot of jiu-jitsu players have that too. They practice, and it's kind of fine, but after practice, the pain hits, and they cannot sleep. Yeah,
I
you
know
should
what
get
you mean.
help. But it's a fine line. It is hard to say. Yeah, it's hard to say. I think there's a lot of places that get a free hour. You can check up and you can ask some questions to somebody and ask, should I get help or not? And there are a lot of places, physiotherapy places that offer that. But do the maintenance, and if the pain is less, then you're on a good way. But if it keeps hurting, get help.
Oh, okay. Dude, this is perfect. But what if now for the big question. I for myself I once during training I did something incredibly stupid and I can't remember exactly what. I just remember a partially torn meniscus.
Yes.
That's what the doctor told me. He said it's a
Yes.
partially torn meniscus. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have to operate. It wasn't like he said you can choose to operate, you can choose to do
Yeah.
physiotherapy. I had the hardest time mentally staying away from the gym, staying
Yes.
away. And how was your story? I mean, how did you get through it? How did you take it seriously to
Yeah.
actually? I mean, this is something very important because there's a lot of people out there that get hurt and then they feel like
Yeah.
their life is over. And what would you
Yes.
say to them? Like if you look them
For
in the
different
eye,
people, different. Yeah. For me, I had to step away from jiu-jitsu because I got more depressed. I couldn't be around jiu-jitsu at that point because you want to join in then. If I came to practice, it was too much for me. So it's for different for some people. Some people, it's actually good being busy with jiu-jitsu. I think. Did you operate or not?
did not.
Did
I did
not.
not.
Oh, better choice actually.
Really?
For later, yes. I
I
I would recommend only operating when it's the buckle, when you get the buckle, because you get torn, but when it kind of flips and then your knee locks. That's the only time I would say operate with the meniscus. Otherwise, don't. Yeah, because if they there's only more risk for more knee injuries later,
Mhm.
like knee osteoarthritis. But yeah, I think the moment you get injured, it's a good moment to work on your mental health. So start doing some mindfulness things. Start trying to meditate. And I see a lot of people, yeah, but I can't meditate. I don't want to. I fall asleep. That's fine. It's a skill you have to learn. Or do something other that is meditative. So if your back injury hurts a lot, but you kind of like, you can go swimming. You cannot do maybe jiu-jitsu, but you can go swimming. It's also like moving back and down, can be releasing the stress of your head. um, but work on your mental health, I think, is the big key, I would say. And in your head you can still, because maybe your body isn't moving, but it's the same. uh, Everything is the same. If I'm thinking about jiu-jitsu, my brain is doing everything, like, but without moving. So it's the same parts of my brain is moving. My zenuwa,
Nervous
uh,
system.
nervous system is working exactly the same without using my muscles. So if you're thinking about drilling some passing drills in your mind, exactly, your body is doing it. So that's a way to maybe visualize, trying to get control of your mind about anxiety or something else. It can help you with different parts of your life too. So I think even like research shows, like, um, doing some mindfulness stuff will help you the most. Even being depressed, or it will get you at ease more. Be accept You can accept more being uncomfortable. because you're not only thinking about the big elephant in the room, but you're seeing a lot of other places. So it's not only the injury that is clouding your whole day, but you see also, oh, but this is also good. And you kind of accept more being injured. It is fucked up being injured, but it is how it is. And sometimes we focus too much on what's being fucked up in your day and focus on different parts too that will kind of be at ease and accept everything.
You're going to become a new guru. I've officially make you a life coach.
Some people, you know, when you can't, you teach.
But you can, and we're going to hear about that in your in the next time we talk, probably. I mean, I've seen the medals. I've seen it. I've heard the stories. That's the best thing.
Oh wow!
I've heard via. Oh, what she? Beast.
Oh, they're very nice. It's okay.
So, dude, I am amazed. I'm amazed by the amount of wrong things that I've been doing and the things I can do better.
Everybody, I'm still learning every day, reading.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Experiencing. Even like Corona made me look at things different or try to use it a bit more. The things I've learned. I'm happy that I did psychology, even though I'm not working as a psychologist with people. But the things I've learned, I use it, with sport. So as a sports psychologist, or the things I've learned how to use mindfulness, I use it in my own way now, even to get through Corona and be at ease with it.
Can you tell us a little bit? Which is like, what would you do? Like, in our little road back to be maybe able to train, what is the thing that we should put in our minds? Like, what seeds should we plant?
Which seeds? Be very grateful. So even now, I'm grateful for the things I have time now to do. So that's are the things. I couldn't do jiu-jitsu, so I pierced my ear because I wanted it that long. So I was like, yeah, fuck, I couldn't do jiu-jitsu, but there are things I can do. So I kind of accepted not doing sparring and did things I didn't have the time. So I tried to learn Portuguese, or so I look at it that way. Do different things, but when I can do jiu-jitsu later on, I think I would be more grateful doing it, and maybe more with a goal. Okay, what do I want to learn this practice? What should I get out of it? Be more mindful of my practice. Use it better. Have a game plan beforehand. I think that would help me. And that's something I actually wanted to do before I did jiu-jitsu, because I know if you go to practice and you have a plan, I want to get better at passing guard, or I want to do this pass. And if I go spar, I at least want to hit it 5 times. In my head, I kind of had it, but I was, in the always busy. At the one point, oh, we're at practice. And without using my mind, I just did the practice that the teacher gave. But you can actually have a lot of influence on your own practice. So yes, the teacher gives you techniques, but when you spar, you can spar and you can work on your game. So you can actually lead your progress. And I think a lot of that can help get your game better for if you do a lot of tournaments. Not being busy with I have to win, but more being busy I have to get this better. Because when you get this better, it will automatically lead you to more wins. But if you're always worrying about winning or losing, you get more to losing because you're not thinking about the techniques. Your mind can only think about one thing.
Writing more shit down. That's amazing. Speaking of competition,
Mm-hmm.
the I mean, now that everybody is, we're getting back into it. We're gonna get ready again for competition.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we should take competition serious ever, unless you're really
Mm.
living and doing this for a life
Yeah,
reason. Then, even then, you might lose today and win from the same guy next week.
tomorrow. Exactly. And that's how it is.
How how do you prepare mentally? How do you prepare mentally, considering that we haven't trained at all, and the next week there's
Mm-hmm.
going to be some really hardcore training coming up soon?
Yes. So for the competitors, I would already say, fuck thinking about winning or losing. That's already a goal that shouldn't be there. The moment you only think about winning, your ego is gonna be behind it because you can't lose. You're gonna freak out. Maybe even when you think about if you lose and your goal is only winning, you're always losing. Because the moment you win, you didn't learn, but the moment you lose, you also lost everything because the only goal you had was winning. And I think especially with jiu-jitsu, you lose more than you win. So it turns really quickly in your mind from thinking about winning to thinking about losing. And the moment you think about losing, you're gonna lose because your body actually does what you're thinking. And I think how do you get better? Think about how you get better will lead to winning. Because the moment I think more about getting my spider guard better and thinking about maybe the combinations I can use or something I'm stuck with, and maybe with sparring somebody always gets out of my spider guard, or if you think about something more like productive, you will get better at jiu-jitsu. And I think that should be the goal, getting better at jiu-jitsu and not winning or losing. So your goal should be more master orientated and not performance. Because one will lead to the other.
It's perfect. I have a million more questions. I have so many, but we've been going for a good time right now.
Mm,
I think we have given people a lot of information to work with,
I
first and
hope so.
foremost.
Yeah.
And if I get more questions, I will ask them next time because I think we should do this again.
Nice. Yeah, sure. I will
Yeah?
answer any questions, and if people are hurt, you can visit me.
Where
And I will
where
help
can we
you.
visit you? Where can we visit you?
At this moment, I work for myself and for Sport Medical Center, but more for myself because of the corona. It's not of a lot of space. But yeah, you can contact me and we can set up an appointment. That's how we
I
do things
will
now.
link. What should I link? Facebook or Instagram? What?
Instagram.
Instagram. I'll link
I don't have a
Instagram.
Facebook. Yeah.
All right. Oh no, you don't. That's true. I tried to find.
Mm.
I was stalking you like for I think last day, yesterday. I was stalking. I said, "Where is this woman online? What is she? Why is there so little? Why is there? Are you a spy?"
Yeah. Only one. Yeah. Only one social media, and that's Instagram. Yeah.
Are you a spy?
I cannot
Do
tell.
you work? Yeah. Perfect answer. I think we have everything. Do you want to say anything to the people that are anything at all? Anything you feel like do this or stop doing this or
Yes.
buy
Um,
John Donner? John Donner.
be nice to everybody on the mat when you get back on the mat. Yeah. And be grateful about it. And when everybody can train, please come visit United Fighters and come train with us. I want to spar with everybody.
Perfect. Love. That's what it's all about. Love for each other, especially around these times when there's a lot of hate going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's an honor and a pleasure to talk to somebody that's so open and so loving and
Thank you very much.
and gave us gave us openly all this information and all this love.
I hope
So
somebody gets the use of it.
if we get one person to be more careful, we did a whole lot of work already.
Yes,
All right,
exactly. Yes.
Jasmine, I had a wonderful time. Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
am, and I think I'm gonna stop recording. Just stop recording, and then we can keep going a little bit more. So, to everybody listening and watching, thank you.
Goodbye.